Good evening, everyone. It is the A-Bears. It's Heather and Shelly. And we are cooking tonight, and I am actually I'm teaching Shelly how to make my taco pie, and I'm sharing it with y'all. So, what we're going to start with is our frozen pie crust. You can buy the store brand or whatever. I was lazy. I just hit the button. Taco seasoning. Your ground meat. Please cook it. Refried beans, cook that too, separately, and all of our seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, and everything. First off, of course, you cook your ground meat. Second, go ahead and preheat your oven and put your pie crust in the oven to start defrosting a little bit. See, frozen pie crust. So we're going to give them a little head start on baking. I do poke a little bit of holes in it because, you know, the pie crust does bubble up. So that's done. We'll be right back. Okay, so now we've got our ground meats cooked. The pie crust are in the oven. We only want them to bake just a little bit. We got the refried beans in a pot cooking. So now Shelly is going to mix all of her seasoning into the ground meat. So she's going to put her taco seasoning in, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, salt, and I love putting this on chicken, meat, anything. I love this stuff. So don't forget this. I'm almost out, so use it wisely. Don't be shouting. Girl, who do you belong to?
Is it not?
Yes. So we're going to let her put her seasoning in. And I'm going to put a half a cup of water, just so Shelly can get all that stirred and mixed together. Now, as she's doing this, she's keeping it on low heat. And she's just mixing it all together. Don't forget your refried beans to stir them up in a minute after you through mixing that, because they will burn. And that's it. Make sure all that mixing's good. And go ahead and stir up your refried beans a little bit. And we're just using a regular spoon for that. We ain't fancy. Yeah, break it down. So you want to make sure all this is cooked before you put it into your pie crust. And this is my taco pie recipe. My father-in-law does not like anything taco, and he loves this pie. He will devour it. And just put it back on the holder and finish mixing. I did want to add for a safety note, the refried beans I get in a can. Always make sure you wash your can off the top and wipe it before you open it. I hate to say it, but there is pests in some of the warehouses. They can't help it, and you don't want that to get into your food. So make sure to clean your can, wet it, clean it, make it dry before you open it. And that's with any canned food. You see that? That's why I was telling Shelly to poke just a little bit of air holes in there so that pie crust does not bubble up like that. Okay, so once your pie crust is through baking and it looks something like this, and you have your refried beans cooked, you got your ground meat cooked. Now you start adding your refried beans and your ground meat to your pie crust. You put I'm only going to do one pie crust with refried beans because my husband doesn't like them. But the order we do it is refried beans and then ground meat. For my husband's, it's just going to be ground meat. Just smear it all at the bottom. That's refried beans. Make sure it's even. And remember this pie, we're not putting no refried beans in. So next you want to do your toppings. Lettuce, I already used lettuce chopped up. Tomatoes, we're about to dice those up. And I use Kobe Jack cheese, but you can use whatever cheese you like. So let's get those tomatoes cut up. This is what our pies look like with just the refried beans and ground meat, and the one with just the ground meat. Before we start putting our toppings on. Okay, so we've added all our toppings, our lettuce, our tomatoes, and our cheese. They're gonna look like this. This is how they look. Now we're gonna put these bad boys back into the oven for about 15 minutes or until that cheese is really melted. I did want to note my frozen pie crust, I do take it out probably about 20 minutes ahead of time so it defrosts some. That's why it only takes it about 15 to 20 minutes to get to that crispy point, but I don't want it to be all the way baked because I have to put it back in to put the toppings and stuff, melt the toppings and bake the top. So we'll be right back. Also, before I forget this again, I do put my oven on 375. So now we have the pies out the oven, it is time to add the good shit. The sour cream and the salsa. My husband does not like sour cream and salsa. He doesn't realize what he's missing in life, that and refried beans. So we're not going to be putting it on his. He gets the plain Jane one. But y'all see what it looks like. She is putting the salsa on. Now remember, this pan is very hot. This stuff just came out the oven. I'm hungry. I ain't got to wait time for it to be cooling down. It's what, 8:30 at night? I don't ever eat this late. But we was busy. We had to get the shelter dogs prepared for this cold weather that's coming in. So I'm busy with dinner tonight. So she's putting the salsa on. Let's see how she's doing that. So now they are done. Now, you don't have to put your salsa and sour cream on top. Me and Shelly do, and then we'll put some more on our plate. My husband does not like it, but this is what your end result will look like with taco pie. That is without refried beans and without salsa and sour cream. And this one is with salsa and sour cream. And you can use the genetic versions if you want to of the salsa and the sour cream, just like you can with the pie crust. So, remember, halfway cook your pie crust, your frozen pie crust, for about 15 minutes. Take it out. Cook your ground meat. Do not be putting raw ground meat in that pie crust. Ooey. Cook your ground meat, season it up. Cook your refried beans a little bit. Refried beans first, if you're going to use that. Then your ground meat, then your lettuce, then your tomatoes. Top it off with as much cheese as you want to. Put back in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. And we will be back in a minute. If I do kind of seem out of it, I do apologize. I'm not all happy-go-lucky tonight. My right shoulder keeps popping in and out, and it's rubbing because there's no, like, really anything there, so the bones are rubbing. So I'm doing what cupcakes do. I'm sucking it up. But I really wanted to do this with Shelly tonight and share this recipe with her and share it with everybody else because it's an easy recipe. It's just taking us longer because we're videoing it. So we'll be right back. All right. See, this is the end result right here. Yeah, we're not the best at cutting pie. And this is my husband's because he didn't get the sour cream and stuff.
It's very good too.
So Shelly, test your food. Is it good?
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Well, that is a taco recipe. Remember, once you take it out the oven, you put everything on, give it a few minutes to cool, unless you want a skull tongue. Very easy recipe. I will have, again, how to make it in the comments below. But it is my taco pie. My father-in-law, who does not like tacos, loves this pie. And thank you for sharing this experience with me, teaching Shelly how to make it, because she will be getting her own place soon. So she's got to learn. I got to give up my secrets. Y'all have a good night.